Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you all the successes and failures of my garden. I know last summer I talked a lot about my garden. This summer it's been kind of weird weather-wise, but also we've been traveling quite a bit. So I've made a few mistakes, but I've also had some successes. So I'm going to show you around, give you a tour of everything that I planted, how it's going, and then how I plan to maintain it and do my best going forward.
Okay, so we're starting off with my tomatoes here. I got a bunch of different varieties. Last year I only got Roma and I had a couple grape tomato plants, but this year I wanted to experiment with heirlooms and just other varieties. So here I have a big boy, which is actually true to its name, falling over. I don't have a better stake for this, so it's actually coming in over here, but hopefully it'll produce quite a bit. A lot of my tomato plants for some reason this year, leaves got yellow, they got spotty, brown spots, I forget what it's called, I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. But when I researched, what I was told is that there's really nothing you can do about it if it's already there. So I'm just taking off the diseased leaves and doing away with them. This spot in particular, I had one plant die here. I tried to plant another one, it's got one on here, but we'll see how it does. Over here you'll see I already did it to this plant. There was a branch that grew outside of the cage. So in this case, so that it doesn't break off, I'm taking an old hair tie that snapped and I'm gonna go ahead and as gently as possible tie it around here. The elastic gives it a little bit of give so that it doesn't break the stem. If it does grow a little bit, it has some room to grow essentially. And at any point, if you want to give me tips, I will gladly accept them. Like I said in the beginning of this video, there's a lot of learning that was done and I'm continuing to learn and try to do as best as I possibly can. So over here I have all my peppers. Now what I did to start this season was the worst thing I could have done, which I bought all my pepper plants and then I waited like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks to plant them. And in that time, some of them dried out, some of the buds fell off, and then I didn't get any. So I was actually just gonna scrap it, but I thought if I let it continue to grow or let these continue to grow, maybe new buds will come. And that's actually exactly what happened. So as you can see, there's a ton of leaves on here. Not many new buds, but here you can see there's quite a few flowers. And then with this plant here, you can see that I have some purple bell peppers growing on here. So those will be really cool. Purple is a really cool color. I don't know if it tastes much different, but I thought that would be fun. All right, and I have not done zucchinis in I think 2 years because I used to get vine borers. Well, this year to prevent that, put some aluminum foil over my stems. I may have done this even a little bit late because as you can see here, this is signs of a borer here. However, I saw this, I still, when I put this on here, and I let it continue to grow. So it actually has stayed alive. In the past, my plants have not done so well. So with this one, I'm like, what the heck, I'll just let it keep going. And it did produce. So I have 2 or 3 zucchinis that I've already picked. And then as you can see here, this is a massive zucchini that I need to take off of here. So I will harvest this right now. You probably shouldn't let them get this big, but I already picked 2 or 3 that were this big, so I didn't have any room in my fridge. But as you can tell, this is literally a newborn baby. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that up and probably throw it in the freezer because I do not have a meal that will need that much. But for the rest of these, you'll be able to see some. So on this leaf, for example, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it off because not only is it taking energy away from the other leaves that need it, but it also has powdery mildew. I already did 1 powdery mildew treatment. You can see on this plant here, for example, this is what powdery mildew looks like. I'm not really sure the cause of it. However, there's a couple different ways that you can treat it. So the way that I'm treating it is I'm using neem oil extract and I'm spraying down the leaves, which is what I have actually in this solution. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray this one down and then off camera I will get the rest. But you just want to give a liberal spray and then hope it goes away, but we shall see. So in other areas of the garden, so here is a mix of different things here. I put this in here so that I could put some netting over top of it and no squirrels would get to it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and take this out because it's not necessary anymore. Get these tendrils off of here. All right, so what we have here, you might, if you're a gardener, you might recognize this leaf. This is a cucumber leaf. I've only did one cucumber plant, and as you can see, I have a nice big one that I can harvest. Same with the zucchini. So I only did one cucumber plant, but both cucumber and zucchini go crazy. So that's really all I need. I can't eat enough cucumbers when I have more than one plant anyway, so that's all I did. One really cool thing that I did this summer is, last summer I did have cantaloupe, but it was a different variety. It didn't do very well. It came on pretty late. But this year I actually, as you can see, have a really nice big cantaloupe. This is the Bush Star variety. I don't know, I've seen like those actual wedges in the store before, so I don't know what variety this store usually has. But regardless, what I have been doing actually is I just took a strainer, and this is nothing that I found on the internet, probably isn't even good for it, but we have had really bad squirrels in the previous years, if you've seen my videos before. However, we just had a tree on the other side of our neighbor's property cut down, so I think a lot of the squirrels that used to live in that tree are the ones who terrorized my garden. So, good thing to come from a bad thing, I guess. So anyways, what I was doing, because I would hate to see this have a bite or two in it after all the work that we've done, so I've just been putting this strainer over top of it. I probably don't really need to, but I actually did see a squirrel in the garden today, so I might pop that back on overnight. All right, so as you can see, our cantaloupe plants also have powdery mildew on there. Any ones that are like close to this that have spotting and yellowing, I'm just going to cut those off because the natural instinct of the plant is to do damage control on the leaves that are suffering. So if there's no chance of them getting back to life, then you might as well just cut them off so that they can put their energy into the stuff that is going to survive. All right, and then the only other thing over here is watermelon plants. I did do pretty well last year with watermelons. This is my only baby watermelon right now, but hopefully more will come. I don't know if they're suffocating right now. I might have to go in and prune a little bit, but as you can see, there's a couple more cantaloupes over here, and then there's one final one that's growing pretty big right here, a little bit hidden. So I'm gonna go ahead and prune and spray the powdery mildew solution over everything, clip everything up. I'll show you what it looks like after I do that, but first I have 2 more plants that I started this year for the first time, and I'll show you that. Alright, so I've never done corn before, but we decided to do corn. I did have some netting over it, so again, the birds and squirrels and everything would stay out of it, and they didn't. So some of the tops were already off. I have never grown corn before anyway, so this is just going to be a fun experiment, but this one was already taken apart, it looks like. So we'll see if we get anything out of it, but if you have any tips on growing corn, let me know. And then as you can see in here is a little strawberry patch. We did get a handful of strawberries to start the season, and it looks like they're still growing. The actual leaves anyways are still growing. So this could be a really cool strawberry patch come next year, but I think strawberries are done for this year. And then we need to do some weed whacking, but I also have some dill, which is a perennial. So this is my perennial pod here, which I need to probably move to a different area because these strawberries are going to take over really quick. But we got some nice dill in here that I can use for cooking. Okay, and then the last thing I have here is I had some seedlings that I wanted to start, but I didn't have enough room in my garden. So they are slowly growing. I'll probably transition them into larger pots and just keep them in my sunroom if they do fruit to anything. I did actually see that today there's one little flower on here, so we might get some production. I'm not too worried about it. I've tried to give them away to friends, but It is what it is. And then this here is my basil plant. I didn't have very good luck with basil last year, so I'm glad that it's finally growing. It's really nice for some Italian dishes, but you can keep that inside your kitchen anyways.
So I wish I could say I had a little bit more growth for you, but that's just how some gardening seasons go. Let me know down below if you've ever had any troubles with any specific plants, and like I said, if I can learn from you, I would be forever grateful for that. A couple things that I learned is if you're gonna go on vacation for more than 3 or 4 days, then you might wanna ask your neighbor to water your plants, which happened to me a couple times. So I probably would have gotten a little bit more production if I did that, but it is what it is. Also, you'll want to check your plants every day. Usually I do want to see the growth and I want to check it every day, so I do. But if you see even a little bit of powdery mildew or any type of infestation, you want to take care of it as soon as possible and not let it fester. So in the situation with my tomato plants, I probably could have researched it a little bit better. I do also have compost that I did not use this time around. I didn't put any nutrients in my soil. I just used what I had. So I wish I would have done a little bit more of that and put a little bit more nutrients in my soil. I feel like I would have gotten a lot more production, but I'm hoping that I still am able to get quite a bit out of my garden yet this year. If you have a garden, let me know, and I'd love to hear about what you've planted this year and what your favorite plant is to plant and how that's going. I really appreciate your support. If you've made it this far, then you're a real one. So thanks so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you the next time. Bye guys.
Well, so much for thinking